So to get started with exercise one, the first thing you need to do is you need to start drawing some thumbnails, sketches for the layout. This is the last sheet of your project brief, and this will really help you determine what system you want to use with the grid. So I actually gave you the outlines of the grid that I provided in the InDesign file, so you can use that grid to kind of plan out possible solutions that you could create. So this is page 1 and page 2 of one idea, and this is another idea that could be worth pursuing, and then a third. So these are actually two, 1, 2, and 3. So you want to plan out a two spread system, one that has the title or headline and text, and then one that just has text and image. You'll see that I have like little sections. Those are chances for pull quotes. So you can pull out part of the text that you really want to put some emphasis on. So that could be a really nice way. So you really want to do all this before you start working on the InDesign file. So once you have this done and you figured out what you want to do, then you can make sure you download your files, Exercise1 resource files, and you'll see that there is an InDesign file in there. That's what I have open here. And then it's really just the photos that I have provided that you could possibly use in the spread in just 2 folders just because of file size. So once you start looking at the InDesign file, you'll see under pages that I have already added the content. There's 2 spreads for you. If you go under the master pages, you'll notice, double click, that this is where the grid is. And then this is also where you're dealing with other sections of the magazine and the automatic page number. So you can alter all these things. You can add colors behind them if you so desire, like this. And that will automatically update, send it to back, and it will automatically update down here. You can make those decisions, but the grid remains the same. So once you go into the text, you'll see that it's all just laid out one big text box, and they're all linked. So if you hit return on one, it will automatically update up here, so you don't have to worry about that. And then go over into paragraph styles, and you'll see that I've already named and created paragraph styles for you. So if you wanted to change the body type, you double click the body type paragraph style, you go into basic format, you can change it to a different typeface, hit preview. It's acting a little funky for me. Well, InDesign's a little sluggish. So you guys can change the typeface. I'm having a little issues with Adobe right now. And so you can change the size and it will automatically update if you hit preview. You can change the typeface here. You'll notice that under indents and spacing, I've added space after each paragraph, which is a nice clean way to do that. You don't want to hit return after each paragraph, because you'd have to go in and delete it if you want to change it. So you can just change that right here. You can also change indents if you wanted to. First line indent could go out, for example, and you can change the alignment, though I would suggest you keep it at left aligned. And then I also went under hyphenation, and I unchecked hyphenate, so you got rid of that. So those are 2 things I've done. And then you'll notice that there's headline already selected. So now you guys actually have to decide what you want to do. So based on your thumbnails, you can change the text boxes as you want it. You can break out your, I'm just cutting that out. You can break out your headline and move it over to another one, etc. You can start to add the images that you want depending on what you're going to do. So if you remember that you create with the rectangle frame tool, you just create that shape, and then you just go file, place, I realize you can't see my header quite yet. And then I'm gonna go back to am I doing? 3 source files. So then you can choose one of the photos that you might want to use and go open. And then you can go to object fitting, fill frame proportionally, or you can right click, etc. And then remember, you can hit the W key or just go over here and hit preview to preview what it would look like. W key back and forth. So you can play around with what you might want to do. So this is really an opportunity for you to play around with aesthetic without worrying too much about with establishing a grid. I've created one already for you, so you need to start playing around with that. Additionally, if you were trying to do something that was a little bit more playful with text wrap, you go File, Place, fill that. You can open up the text wrap panel, and if you select the image, and then you can play around with the text wrap over here, and this will allow you to create a margin, and that will automatically move if you needed to as well. But you want to stick to your grid, so just keep that in mind, and that's how you use your text wrap. So you have 2 pages to deal with here, and so you're going to play around with it. You could do a type study. You can start playing around with type individually. You can do research online about different type combinations. You can look at the book about that. You can download new typefaces. It's up to you. You have your chance to kind of play around with this. Obviously, blue is the theme, so you want to keep that in mind when you're dealing with the color, but that should at least get you started.